All right, welcome to our deep dive on the geography of New Zealand. And if you're gearing up for exams like the UPSC, this is for you. Because understanding how a country's land and its economy are intertwined is absolutely crucial. Today, we're literally going to connect the dots, from New Zealand's fiery birth all the way to its modern-day global trade.
Sounds pretty dramatic, right? But seriously, this question gets to the very heart of what New Zealand is all about. We're going to explore exactly how its violent volcanic beginnings have shaped, well, everything, from its jaw-dropping mountains all the way to the core of its biggest global industries.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll start with the basics, the lay of the land, then we'll dig into the country's fiery origins. After that, we'll see the incredible landscapes this created, connect them to climate and the economy, and finally, look at how this all supports New Zealand's major cities.
All right, first things first, let's get the lay of the land. The whole country is basically built around these two main islands, and you've got to understand this separation to get the full picture.
So, what you've got to understand about New Zealand is that its geography is all about two things: isolation and division. You've got the two main players, right? The North and South Islands, split by the Cook Strait. And it's surrounded by water. The Tasman Sea on the west, separating it from Australia, and the massive Pacific Ocean on the east. This whole setup has had a huge impact on its climate, its history, you name it.
So how did this place even come to be? Well, let me tell you, it wasn't a quiet affair. This nation was literally forged in fire by some of the most powerful forces on the planet.
Okay, this right here is the absolute key to understanding New Zealand. It's a perfect example of a volcanic island arc. Think of it like a slow-motion collision between two giant plates under the ocean. The heavier one gets forced underneath the other, that's subduction. As it goes down, it melts into magma. And where does that magma go? Straight up, popping up to form the very islands we're talking about today.
And this is so important to grasp. This whole volcanic story isn't just some dusty old history lesson. Nope, the evidence is literally everywhere you look today, defining the entire landscape of the country.
You can think of it like this volcanic powerhouse left behind two star attractions. Up on the North Island, you have Lake Taupo, which isn't just any lake. It's the flooded heart of an ancient supervolcano. And down on the South Island, the incredible Southern Alps were pushed up by this same immense tectonic force.
So to really get what Lake Taupo is, you have to understand this term, caldera. Now, don't mix this up with a crater from a meteor. It's totally different. This happens when a volcano has such a massive eruption that it literally just collapses in on itself.
So how does this happen? It's a pretty dramatic four-act play. First, the magma chamber underneath gets super full, building up insane pressure. Second, boom, a massive eruption empties the whole thing out. Third, with all its support gone, the volcano's structure just caves in. And finally, over thousands of years, rain fills up that huge hole, and you get a caldera lake.
And Lake Taupo? Well, that's the real deal result of that exact process we just walked through. It sits right in the collapsed caldera of the old Mount Tauhara supervolcano. And pay attention to that word dormant. It's like the volcano is just sleeping, not gone forever. The potential for more action is still there.
Okay, so we've got these incredible volcanic landscapes. But what does that mean? How does that translate into, an actual economy? Let's connect the dots between the geology, the climate, and the money.
This table breaks it down perfectly. So, they both get plenty of rain all year, which is fantastic for growing stuff. But the real game changer is the temperature. The North Island is warmer, what you might call a warm, temperate climate. The South Island is cooler, a cool, temperate climate. And that difference is what dictates the kind of farming you find on each island's big agricultural plains.
So on the North Island, you have the Taranaki Plains. And because this is all volcanic land, the soil is just packed with nutrients. It's like nature's perfect fertilizer. This makes it an absolute paradise for pastoral farming. We're talking raising sheep and especially cattle for dairy and meat.
Now, let's head south to the Canterbury Plains. Again, we see this huge expanse of pasture land enriched by ancient lava flows. But here's a super important point, especially for your exams. When you think of Australian sheep, you think wool, right? Merino wool. But in New Zealand, the focus is totally different. Their cooler, wetter climate is perfect for raising sheep for meat, specifically high-quality lamb that they export all over the world.
All right, last piece of the puzzle. Let's see how all this geography and farming actually underpins New Zealand's biggest cities and their very different industries.
The North Island is really the country's modern economic hub. You've got Auckland, the biggest city with this massive port. It's the main door in and out for trade, and it's a huge center for food processing and, of course, tourism. Then there's Wellington, the capital. It's more than just politicians. It's a creative powerhouse. Think film production, tourism, and a buzzing IT scene.
The cities on the South Island, on the other hand, are much more directly connected to the wealth of the land itself. Take Christchurch. It's perfectly placed right on the Canterbury Plains, so it naturally became the go-to place for processing everything that comes off that land, all the meat, wool, and dairy. And then you have Dunedin, which has a totally different vibe. It's a major university town, a real center for education.
So at the end of the day, here's the takeaway. You can literally trace a line from a tectonic plate sliding under another one millions of years ago, to the fertile soil that created, to the sheep and cattle grazing on it, all the way to the lamb and cheese you might find in a supermarket on the other side of the world. It all connects.
And that really leaves us with something to think about. Those same incredible forces that built this nation, they haven't gone anywhere. They're just quiet. For now. So if this volcanic power shaped its past and built its economy, you have to wonder, how will its sleeping potential define its future?